Thank you very much, Simon. Good to hear again from. Oh, right. Ches Peterser has just ended up off the circuit off of turn one in the 38. But here is the grid for the third out of six X30 junior heats, A versus C. Jan Rodriguez and Luca Bonhomme will be on the front row of the grid. Bonhomme won heat two yesterday. Antoine Duval, who won the first heat of the weekend, he lines up on the inside of row two alongside Luxembourg's Lucas Pellizzari, Yannis van den Bosch and Oliver Meek round out row three. Gert de Vries and Lorenz de Kock round out row four ahead of Lucas Metz and Suriname's Jamaro Hoft. Finn Rossen and Neil van der Ende round out row six ahead of Hughes Biquillon and Danny Boers. Alan Vida and Thiago Dirks round out row eight with Mela Taylor, Yves Schrie, Charles van Kellecom and Cyril Grosjean rounding out the top 20. 26 drivers in all. Moro Vertries, Cés Pedersen, Didier Krieft, Denis Kozlowski, Luca Pereira and Leo Hardouin round out your 26 runners and riders. So the drivers now go onto their official formation lap. So the wind is starting to pick up to the east. And the air temperature around about 11 degrees Celsius. Luca Pereira has crossed the timing beam, so all 26 drivers will take the rolling start ahead of 10 minutes plus an additional lap. We'll have one more race after this to go before we go on to the customary lunch break. And then we'll have the final 5 qualifying heats. So the final 3 of X30 Senior and the final 2 of X30 Junior. And then we can hand out, once the events of today so far have been officially confirmed and ratified, thereby we can officially dish out the points here for the respective classes. So Luca Bonhomme, who Simon spoke to yesterday, very happy with the race result. Obviously a win for the youngster from France. So now it is the time for these drivers to really concentrate on the race start and then afterwards engage your plan of action, how you're going to drive this race, because still the circuit very heavily saturated here at Mariembourg. But it is Rodriguez and Bonhomme who will control the pace. They have slowed them down to an absolute snail's crawl, and that's very good to see. So the drivers are now going to see the red lights as they come up the hill here at this 1,388 metre circuit. So drivers being told to split and go into the tram lines. Revs start to rise as heat number 3 for Junior X30 is given the green light. We are underway and racing. And some drivers using the outside line, trying to carry the momentum through. It's nearly 5 wide at the back of the field. But still, they managed to all get through turn 1. Turn 2 looks to be about the same. They've got to watch out for that big muddy puddle that caught out some of the senior X30s. 4 wide into turn 3, right at the tail end of the field. And someone goes through the splash puddle. Someone else decides to do that in sympathy. But look, the field, at the front of the field, it's an absolute scrap and a half. Looks like, it's going to be Jan Rodriguez leading from Antoine Duval. Luca Bonhomme now down to P3. And bit of a moment there for Jan Rodriguez, who manages to sling. I've never seen that before. Runs deep into the corner before Piff Paff, and then slingshots past the person that's just overtaken them. So Duval has just been slingshot past by Jan Rodriguez as we come towards the end of a very busy opening lap as Duval dives up the inside. Traction is going to be on the outside of the circuit by Jan Rodriguez, who gets through on Duval. A little bit of a touch between front to rear bumper. But it is going to be the Portuguese driver that leads over the line for the opening lap. But Duval up the inside. Can Rodriguez use the momentum through on the inside line of turn 1 to get through on Duval? The answer is no.
Antoine Duval qui vient de prendre la tête à Yann Rodriguez. Ça a été animé entre ces deux-là lors du premier tour. Et maintenant, c'est le Belge qui prend l'avantage sur le Portugais. Derrière, Lucas Bonhomme qui s'est lancé depuis la deuxième position est à la troisième place. Et il pourrait peut-être revenir sur les deux hommes de tête pour pourquoi pas gagner l'une ou l'autre position. Derrière, quatrième position pour Luca Pellizzari qui malheureusement a été pénalisé hier lors d'une de ses manches et ça coûte évidemment très très cher lorsque vous prenez 5 secondes ou même 10 secondes de pénalité. Mais rien n'est fait encore dans cette catégorie X30 junior. Il a bien raison de se battre, Luca Pellizzari. 5e place pour l'instant pour Yanis Van Den Bosch qui devance le Britannique Oliver Meek. Voilà pour les premières positions. Et Antoine Duval qui commence déjà à creuser l'écart.
Didier Kreeft is scything his way through the field at the moment. The man from the Netherlands up 9 places already as we come across the line to complete lap number 2. Didier Kreeft now 11th. He's shot up into P11 now. Has got through on the likes of Mela Taylor, Hughes Piquillon, Neil van der Ende, who was embroiled in that big scrap that we saw in one of the early heats yesterday. No, it's Ches Pedersen. Ches Pedersen had made up significant ground and he's just dropped it. He was up to 7th. He was motoring. And I said to him and his dad, I said, what's the pace like? He said, really good pace, but a bad qualifying because Didier Kreeft actually had an incident with Ches Pedersen. And Pedersen found himself on the wrong end of the stick and ended up down the order in qualifying. But he was up from 22nd to 7th by the opening tour of this race. And more to the point, it just goes to show that these drivers are really pushing the envelope. Oh, and we've got a big off. That's the 102 at the opening corner. Lucas Pellizzari from Euro Karting, and the right rear stuck underneath the tyre barriers. As if we hadn't had enough drama in the previous heat with Wouter Bergeno backwards into the barriers. And, yellow flags on the Digi flag at turn number 1. But the main thing is Lucas Pellizzari is all okay. He was running P4. And that just goes to show how quickly these things can change. And I'm just going to have a look back at the footage because that just goes to show now Pellizzari, now I'm looking back at the footage. Pellizzari lost it on his own, did a 360, hit the tyre barriers sideways and it pirouetted him pointing backwards down the start-finish straight. Well, that just goes to show how quickly you can lose it in these conditions. Meantime, Adam Vida is making mincemeat of the field in front of him. He's just got through on Danny Burrs from, I think, WJS Racing. So the man from Henser Racing now closing in on the drivers in front. And he'll have a few drivers to contend with. Yanis Van Den Bosch is next on his hit list.
Oui, cette manche qualificative qui est décidément pleine de rebondissements. On a vu il y a quelques instants Luca Pellizzari sortir au niveau du premier virage. Là aussi, crash assez spectaculaire à pleine vitesse. Pendant ce temps, Antoine Duval continue de creuser l'écart en tête de la course. C'est lui le pilote le plus rapide. Une 14.320, meilleur tour en course. Il a désormais plus de 2 secondes d'avance sur Yann Rodriguez. Et derrière, regardez, c'est une bagarre là qui nous occupe avec Aaron Ueda qui est en pleine remontée. 10 positions de gagné pour celui qui est pour l'instant 5e du classement en bagarre avec Yanis Van Den Bosch. Le numéro 44. Et attention parce que dans cette bagarre, on pourra avoir Danny Bourse aussi qui n'est pas très loin. Et attention, Antoine Duval, c'est Antoine Duval qui est sorti dans le dernier virage. Quand on vous disait que cette manche qualificative était pleine de rebondissements, il survolait cette manche qualificative, Antoine Duval. Heureusement, il n'a pas tout perdu. Il est 3e encore. Mais Quel rebondissement!
You know what it is? It's these white lines. It caught out Pellizzari. I bet you it caught out Duval. Because I just looked back at the footage. Pellizzari touched the white line on the edge of the grass, and that spat him into the barriers at turn 1. So Antoine Duval, who was effectively leading this race comfortably, has just handed it on a plate with 3 minutes to go to Jan Rodriguez. Lucas Bonhomme now rounds out second. Duval, who was the fastest out of anybody, has just dropped it, and that is unlike Antoine. Whenever we're here at Mariembourg, he's on pleine forme, as we would say. But on that particular occasion, I did say these conditions. It doesn't matter who you are, it will catch you out.
Ouais, franchement, on ne s'attendait pas à un tel scénario. C'est désormais Jan Rodriguez qui a repris la première position. Heureusement pour Antoine Duval, hein, il n'a pas tout perdu dans l'aventure. Heureusement, mais c'est vrai qu'on ne s'attendait pas à le voir dans une pareille position. Tout profit pour Jan Rodriguez qui a repris le leadership devant Lucas Bonhomme. Aaron Weda, lui, est en 4e position. Il a pris le meilleur sur Yanis van den Bosch, qui est désormais sous la pression de Danny Bourse. Mais donc, ouais, très grosse frayeur. Et c'est Jan Rodriguez. Oh mais décidément, il ne fait pas bon être leader. Et Antoine Duval qui va repasser devant. Oui, au virage du raccordement, c'est fait.
I don't believe it. I cannot believe it. So we've had Antoine Duval drop the cart. We've had Jan Rodriguez do exactly the same thing later on in the race. And now Duval is back through. But look who's closed. Adam Vida for the Henze Racing team, who is currently second in the championship standings at the moment as they are right now. 10 points ahead of Stig de Rademacher. And then a further 21 points back is Didier Clee, Flavio Gaira, and Noah Grenier, who we will see in action in the next race, round out your top 6 overall. So effectively, it's got to be a case of just, as I said, keep a calm head on cool shoulders, and Jenny van den Bosch is going to lose a position initially to Danny Burrs. But what dramas. So Duval, whilst leading, drops it onto the gravel, coming out of the final right-hander, gets back out on track. And then, one lap ago, Jan Rodriguez dropped the ball.
Ouais, il n'est pas du tout temps de dire que Lucas Bonhomme va filer vers la victoire, parce qu'on l'a vu, les choses peuvent changer très vite dans cette manche qualificative. Heureusement pour les 2 précédents leaders, on n'a pas tout perdu dans l'aventure. Antoine Duval est désormais 2e, Jan Rodriguez 3e, avec Aaron Weda qui n'est pas très loin. Mais que de changements dans cette manche qualificative. Il va rester quelques secondes dans cette manche. Est-ce qu'on va rentrer dans le dernier tour ou dans les 2 derniers tours d'ici quelques instants? Eh bien, on vous le confirmera. Il reste désormais une quinzaine de secondes au chronomètre. Ça va être très juste. Hein. Peut-être le dernier tour. Oui, ce sera peut-être bien le dernier tour dans quelques instants. Mais donc, pour l'instant, Lucas Bonhomme qui a profité des différents faits de course et des erreurs des leaders pour revenir devant. Et attention, Jan Rodriguez qui est allé un peu large dans le dernier virage. Oui. Tout profit pour Aaron Weda. Décidément, cette seconde partie de course qui est compliquée pour le Portugais. Et on peut vous le confirmer désormais, Alex, nous sommes rentrés dans le dernier tour. Avantage pour le Français Lucas Bonhomme.
What a race weekend it's been for the number 30 from Dream Racing. Started on the outside of the front row. Adam Vida now up from 15th on the grid. That's his worst qualifying of the season this year. Well, so far this season. So Vida really starting to come alive in the wet weather conditions. But Lucas Bonhomme for Dream Racing, the French driver, has done a really good job. He's kept it calm, despite the best efforts of Rodriguez and Duval to try and put the frighteners on him. But he's going to come through out of Escargot this time around on lap number 9 out of 9. And the checkered flag will be out for the Frenchman, who's done a stellar job. You can see how much wheel correction he's doing whilst bumping over the curbs. But Lucas Bonhomme is going to make his way through the final right-hander and power up the hill. Here in heat number 3, it's 2 out of 3 for the Frenchman. So Lucas Bonhomme takes the victory for Dream Racing after 9 laps. Antoine Duval, despite a scare, takes P2. Adam Vida takes P3. Jan Rodriguez pips Ches Pedersen from the Netherlands for the Sim-On Hout Racing Team entry in the number 38 by next to nothing. Didier Kreeft also made up 17 positions from 24th to finish P6 ahead of Danny Burrs, Oliver Meek, Yanni Vandenbosch, Merla Taylor, well done to her, made up 7 positions to finish in the top 10 ahead of Finn Rossen, Lucas Metz, Neil van der Ende, Laurens de Kock, Hughes Piquillon, Yves Rie, Jamaro Hoff, Judd de Vries, one of the biggest losers in this race, down 11, finishing 18th ahead of Moro Vertreest. Cyril Grosjean, Denis Kozlowski, Leo Hardouin, and Thiago Dirks rounding up the 24 carts that crossed the line, because Charles van Kellekom, the rookie in the 154, has crossed the line, waiting for Luca Pereira if that Portuguese driver does cross the line, which it does. And Lucas Pellizzari we saw go off at the same place as Wouter Bergono in the previous X30 senior heat, but it's 2 for 2 for France's Luca Bonhomme.